Once upon a time, this the memory. It's like synergy. Life the hardest teacher y'all could ever get the master. Get a test first, then y'all get that lesson after. Steve's never stressing them G's to freeze egos. Please, I just get them in threes like the Migos.
What's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome y'all back to the Diagnosis Success Podcast. I'm your host, K Sparks, and we are alive and blessed. We are alive and blessed. It's a blessing to be a blessing. Appreciate y'all tuning in every week. Y'all know what it is, man. Motivational, inspirational content for you. Get you through your day, your week, your life. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all tapping in, man. And as always, we're going to start off with the word of the day. I like this joint right here, man. It's called Be Thankful for the People That Spoke to the Winner in You Before You Started Winning. I'm going to say that again. Be thankful for the people that spoke to the winner in you before you started winning. I love that word of the day because it's factual. It's real talk. You know, at the end of the day, like, I want y'all to just pause for a second and think about those people who actually pour into you, right? Like, that's real talk. When you think about it, like, just take a second and really think about that. Like, who's calling your phone on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? Like, are those people pouring into you, or are they draining you, right? Like, that's real talk, man. You gotta be honest and be real with yourself. Like, the people that actually care about you as a person, the people that pour into you, that pick up the phone and say, hey, how you doing? You know, not the people that just calling you because they need something. They have a want, whether that be emotionally, financially. They draining you mentally. They draining you financially. Like, they're just not adding to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's trash, man. You know, those special people that actually pour into you, to ask you how you doing, to tell you, yo, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm proud of everything that you're doing. I know life's not easy, but you're giving it your best shot. Yo, hold those people close, man. You know what I'm saying? Those people that see the winner in you before you actually even get the wins, before you even in the game, right? Pay attention and appreciate those people. Hold them close, because it's not a lot of real ones left, man. It's a lot of people that got hidden agendas and stuff like that. So always appreciate the people that are there for you. And that is the word of the day. All right. But for today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite sayings, one of my favorite topics. It's called persistence wears down resistance. I'll say that again. Persistence wears down resistance. A lot of artists, like, they send me messages about their journey, what they're trying to do, or even just entrepreneurship in general. Like, a lot of times people want to know, like, well, what's the best approach? Like, how to be successful, right? And I always tell people that persistence wears down resistance. Y'all ever heard like an artist on the radio that's just trash? And it's like they play the song like 6 times every hour, every day, 7 days a week. And you're like, yo, this is garbage, right? Well, the reality is that the artist might not necessarily be the most talented that you ever heard. You probably heard a better singer, better rapper, better producer, right? But the reality is that most of these people have one thing in common. They were persistent, right? So no matter how many doors they knocked on, and no matter how many times they got told no, get the hell out of here, you're garbage, guess what? They still kept going. And that's the main theme of this episode, man, is to encourage y'all to stay motivated and to stay persistent. One of my favorite sayings is, you hang around the basketball hoop long enough, you're gonna get a rebound, right? Hang around the rim long enough, you're gonna get a rebound eventually, right? So in life, that's a big deal. Now I'm gonna tell y'all a perfect example, right? Because everything I say to y'all is applicable, meaning, like, I've done it, I live it, I preach it, I teach it. If I'm gonna talk about it, it's because I've done it and it's worked for me, right? So in 2007, this point, like, things were transitioning for me because I had like original, like, traditional record deals, but the industry was changing. So we went from vinyls to cassette tapes to CDs to MP3s, right, to the streaming era. So I'm seeing all of this play out, like, in real time, right? And at this time, 2007, the blog era was flourishing, right? This was like the epitome of the blog era. So whether that be DJ Booth, Two Dope Boys, Nah Right, Baller Status, All Hip Hop DX, if you name it, I'm telling you, it was around. And the blogs had essentially become the new DJs. So they were breaking artists and breaking talent. And, you know, when you had the Wale's, the Cuddies, all of these cats coming up like through the internet basically, right? So I saw that and I was like, yo, you know what? Let me try a new approach, because I'm always thinking like 10 steps ahead. Like the way my brain works is like, some people only think like 1 step ahead, but I'm always thinking 10 steps ahead. So I'm thinking like, yo, this is the future right here. So instead of us still pressing up CDs and selling them out the trunk of my car and going to bootleggers and selling, I'm like, yo, let's do this internet, because I saw the potential for the reach was crazy. So I was like, all right, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I want to be different, right? And I think for all artists, or whether you're a musician or entrepreneurship in a business, you got to always think about how can you do what you do, but do it in a special way, right? And be different, right? So I'm like, all right, everybody raps, right? Everybody raps. I rap. I've been in the industry. I've been writing records for people, doing my own thing, and I'm nice, but so what, right? That's like, a lot of times you got to be honest with yourself, right? Like, so what? Get your ego out of it. Like, what you're doing, everyone else is doing, right? So what makes you different, right? So I'm like, all right, well, everybody's rapping, everybody's good. How can I do it in my own way? So then I saw a couple of artists, they were doing like weekly series. It wasn't like everybody was doing it. Like, it was only a couple of people. Like, I saw Crooked Eye and maybe like 2 or 3 people doing it. So it was fairly new. So I'm like, yo, you know what? What I want to do is every week I want to put out an original song to the internet, right? Original production every week. And we're going to call it Manic Mondays. So I was like, you know what? I think if we do that, we could build up like a buzz online. So got with a lot of producers all over the world, producers over in Paris, producers in Africa, producers in Switzerland, Germany, China, all over the world. And every week I would put out an original song to the internet. And, the first week we did it, a couple of websites picked it up, like shout out to my man Z, DJ Booth. They supported out the gate, but after the first week, a handful of sites had it or whatever. And I was like, yo, you know what? We gonna keep going. We gonna keep doing this, right? Because I like this. Like, I like a challenge. Like, I'm just a competitive person by nature. So first week got a little motion. I'm like, all right, cool. So shout out to my man Drew, because every week, like clockwork, we was recording and we was knocking stuff out. And sometimes we would even get ahead of it. So like, we would record like maybe 5, 6 songs at a clip. So we were ahead of production, ahead of schedule. Drew would engineer, mix the records, and we would get it out there, get it out to the internet. Week 2 comes, got a little more motion. Week 3, 5, 6, we did this for an entire year, y'all. And I have y'all know that by the time that year ended, my music was everywhere. It was no joke. Like, all the major blogs had picked it up. Got a lot of cosigns, a lot of traction, got a lot of attention off of that, a lot of publication, radio play, and my first sync agent actually heard of me through my series. So I say all that to say is that by me being persistent and being consistent and believing, right? Like, I spoke life into my career, right? So I got to be perfectly honest with you. Like, yeah, I'm talented, but at the same time, I spoke life. So a lot of times people, they get in their own way with their words, right? They're very negative and they give up before they almost right there. It's like that meme where you see it's a dude and this guy's digging, the other dude's digging, and he gives up, but the diamond was right there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was part of my, just part of my DNA, just to be like a believer in myself. You know what I'm saying? And to have that confidence to just keep going. Like they say, you got to have faith, like mustard seed faith. You can move a mountain, right? So I knew that I had the talent, I had the gift. I just had to stay persistent with that, right? So that's the main thing that I want to drive home to y'all, because based off that persistence, I was able to achieve so many things, and you can do it too. The thing is don't give up on yourself, right? You got to keep going, even on them times where you don't want to do it, right? Because we can't be led with emotion, because a lot of times if we make emotional decisions, we'll fail every time, right? Sometimes you're not going to feel like putting in that grind. Sometimes you're going to feel like, yo, you know what? I don't want to do this, B. Or I'm not seeing the fruits of my labor the way other people is stunting on the internet, and I feel like I'm more talented than them. It's more talented, right? Like Kanye had a line, he was like, I was having breakdowns like, damn, is these dudes that much better than me, right? Like, you got the talent, you got the gift, but it's like, you just see people with lesser talent popping off, but that's okay, right? Like, you can't let that detract you from what you got to do. You know your purpose. You just got to constantly pursue it. And I'll say this too. I think a lot of times always remember your direction is more important than your speed. So a lot of times people will take off and they're going in a certain direction, but you got to make sure that you're going in the right direction, right? Like, be true to yourself, follow your inner compass. Like, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Like, what is your why? Because I feel like that's important. Like, you can be persistent in the world all you want to, but at the foundation and the core, you got to be realistic about your why. Like, why am I doing something? You know what I mean? Why? What is the purpose behind this? What's driving me to do it? And I feel at the end of the day, like, you know, once you're honest with yourself and you consistently pursue that thing, yo, there's nothing you can't do, man. I'm telling you, because I'm a living testament to it. I wouldn't tell people nothing that I never did myself or that I wasn't able to do. But because I was able to attain these things, I made it happen, and you can make it happen too. And that's why I love to do this podcast, because I'm able to give y'all like real tangible advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, and one thing I will say too that I learned from that process of doing Manic Mondays was, for all the artists out there, and artists or business-minded people, make sure that you align yourself with like-minded people. I was able to be successful with that too, because I built strong relationships with solid producers that they saw the vision, they understood it, and we were able to eat off it. You know, like, I was fair across the board. Whoever I work with, I was like, yo, listen, man, we're going to do these tracks. We're going to put them out for sale. 50-50 splits for everybody. No questions asked. You know, fair business. You know what I mean? So a lot of great producers, whether that's Cursor, Piozo, Mo Productions, just a lot of great producers, you know, then and now, whether that be SK, a lot of these guys that I work with, man, you know, Flocalist, shout out to his brother, shout out to B-Side, just a lot of different talented musicians that I continue to grow with and build with. So definitely, man, you know, persistence wears down resistance. You can do it. You will do it. I know you will, because you focus, you determine, and you listen to this podcast. What more do you need? You know what I'm saying? So, yo, shout out to y'all. Much success. And let's get it, man. Comment, like down below. Let me know what's going on with y'all journey, whether that be music, business, what you into. I want to see y'all win. All right?